Roger that. Copy that. 10-4. You've heard these phrases a million times in movies, video games, and probably even use them yourself when you're trying to sound cool on a walkie-talkie. But have you ever stopped to think? Why Roger? Like, who's Roger? Is there some legendary military guy named Roger who's really good at understanding things? Well, buckle up, because the Real story is way more interesting than you think. And here's the kicker. We got incredibly lucky that we said Roger that and not Robert that. Or even weirder, Romeo that. Yeah, I'll explain. Let's dive in. To understand why we say Roger that, we need to go back to a time before radio even existed. We're talking the 1800s, the era of the telegraph and Morse code. Now, imagine you're a telegraph operator. You're sitting there, tapping out messages in dots and dashes all day long. Someone sends you a long message. Maybe it's about troop movements or a business transaction, or someone's grandma just died. But here's the thing. How does the person who sent that message know you actually received it? Remember, this is all happening through wires. There's no read receipt like on your iPhone. They need confirmation. So what do? Do you tap back, message received, sir, thank you very much for your correspondence? No, that would take forever. Telegraph operators were busy people, and time literally was money. You paid by the word. So they came up with something genius. They would send back the letter R for received. Simple, efficient, beautiful. And this little shortcut would eventually change communication forever. Fast forward to the early 1900s, and now we've got radio technology. This is revolutionary. For the first time, people can talk to each other wirelessly through the air. But here's the problem. Early radio was terrible. Static, interference, people talking over each other. It was a mess. And this wasn't just annoying. This was life or death stuff. We're talking military operations, ships at sea, aircraft in combat. Imagine you're a pilot in World War II. You're in the middle of a dogfight, engines roaring, gunfire everywhere, and your commander radios in with new orders. Through all that noise, you need to communicate clearly that you heard and understood. But there's a catch. Letters sound similar over a crackling radio. B, C, D, E, G, P, T, V. They all sound alike when they're static. So the military developed something called the phonetic alphabet. Instead of just saying letters, you'd use whole words that were distinct and easy to understand. A is Alpha, B is Bravo, C is Charlie. You know the drill. But here's where it gets interesting. In the 1940s, during World War II, the phonetic alphabet was different from what it is today. And the letter R was Roger. Now remember our telegraph operators, and there are for received. That tradition carried over into radio. When someone sent you a message, you'd confirm receipt by saying the letter R. But now, with the phonetic alphabet, you weren't just saying R, you were saying Roger. And here's the absolutely wild part. We got so lucky with the timing. Before 1940, the phonetic alphabet used Robert for R. Robert. Can you imagine if everyone today were saying Robert that? It sounds like you're talking to your accountant, not confirming military orders. And then in 1957, NATO changed the phonetic alphabet and R became Romeo. Romeo that sounds like you're in a Shakespeare play, not an F-16. But radio communication exploded in popularity during that sweet spot, the 1940s and 50s, when R was Roger. And that's the version that stuck. We literally caught lightning in a bottle with the coolest sounding option. So Roger was big in military circles, but how did it become something your dad says when he's grilling burgers in the backyard? 2 words: space, race. In the 1960s, NASA's missions were broadcast live to millions of people. Everyone was glued to their TVs watching Apollo missions, and they kept hearing astronauts and mission control saying Roger. This wasn't just cool, this was the future. This was humanity going to the moon. And suddenly, every kid in America wanted to talk like an astronaut. Then Hollywood got in on the action. Every war movie, every cop show, every action film had people saying Roger that and copy that. Top Gun sealed the deal. After 1986, everyone wanted to feel like a fighter pilot. Roger that went from military jargon to cultural icon. It's so embedded in our culture now that people say it without even thinking about what it means. And most people have no idea. They're technically just saying the letter R. Let's talk about some related phrases you've probably heard. Copy that. This also comes from radio communication. Operators would copy messages, meaning they'd write them down. So copy that means I've received and recorded your message. 10-4. This is from police radio codes. 10 to 4 means message received or affirmative. It's part of the 10 code system that has codes for everything. 10 to 1 is reception poor, 10 to 20 is what's your location, and so on. Roger Wilco. Military people love this one. Wilco is short for will comply. So Roger Wilco means I receive your message and will comply with your instructions. It's like the ultimate confirmation. And here's a fun fact. Technically, you're not supposed to say Roger if you're confirming your own call sign. Like if your call sign is Roger, you'd use a different confirmation. Because imagine the confusion. Roger, do you copy? Roger, Roger. Wait, which Roger? So there you have it. Roger that is just a happy accident of history, a telegraph shortcut that got phonetically upgraded at exactly the right moment in time, popularized by the space race, and cemented into pop culture by Hollywood. Next time you say Roger that, you can impress your friends by telling them they're actually just saying the letter, or in a really fancy way. And that we're all incredibly lucky we're not saying Robert that. If you learned something new today, smash that like button, subscribe for more fascinating stories about everyday phrases, and drop a comment. What's your favorite radio lingo or military jargon? Until next time, Roger that, and I'll catch you in the next video.